Officer Vanderpool, you can turn your video on and unmute yourself.
Good day. Yeah.
All right, now calling a matter of State of Georgia versus Stanford Hollister, charged in warrant number 2023 CW 71883, aggravated assault, and 2023 CW 71884, battery family violence. Representing the state is Attorney Cheryl Freeman. Representing the defendant is Attorney Shanteria Martin Stokes. Your witness, Attorney Freeman.
Thank you, Your Honor. Officer Vanderpool, would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear and affirm that the testimony about to provide in the matter of State of Georgia versus Stanford Hollister will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand. Please tell us your name and how you're employed.
Richard Vanderpool with the Clayton County Police.
And how long have you worked with the Clayton County Police Department?
13 years.
And sir, were you working with the Clayton County Police Department on December 15th of 23?
Yes, ma'am.
And on that particular day, did you respond to 7239 Chilton Court in reference to a domestic call or disturbance call? I apologize.
Yes, ma'am.
When you got to that location, who did you speak to?
I spoke with the alleged victim. Hold on, I have to get her name. Kima Scott.
And what did Ms. Scott tell you that happened?
She said that she was involved in an incident or alleged incident where an incident happened between her and her then boyfriend. That he took her phone from her and then beat her up because she had his phone, and which caused visible bruising apparently at the time. But when she made these allegations, it was several days after the fact that she made these allegations. So when I spoke to her that day, I wasn't able to see the bruising at the time.
What did she give you specifics on what her what the person did to her physically?
Yeah.
What did she state?
I'm gonna just go back to my notes I put down. It's he had grabbed her and started striking her with a closed fist. And he continued attacking by choking her, by putting her in a headlock. He also had picked her up and ended up slamming her down onto the pavement, which caused her to temporarily lose consciousness.
Where did Ms. Scott tell you that this incident took place?
At the home, 7239 Chilton Court.
Is that in Clayton County?
Yes, ma'am.
Did she give you the name of her boyfriend?
Yes, she told me his name was Stanford Hollister.
Did the two of them reside at this location?
Yes, according to her.
Did she tell you how long they had resided there?
Let me see if I put that. I don't recall. No, I don't recall if she ever told me the exact time frame.
When you got to this location, was Mr. Hollister still there?
No, he was not there at the time.
Were you able to get in touch with him after speaking to Ms. Scott?
No, based with the number that Ms. Scott gave me, for some reason I wasn't able to reach him. I'm not too sure if the phone just wasn't picking up or it went straight to voicemail, but I never was able to reach him after several attempts.
Were there any witnesses to what happened with Ms. Scott and Mr. Hollister?
Not that I've remember her advising.
Was anyone else at the residence when this incident happened?
I believe she said her children were there, and she said her children were there, but I don't know if they actually witnessed the. From my understanding, or my memory, I don't remember her saying that they witnessed the incident.
Were these small children or teenagers?
Possibly, I think teenage age.
Okay. Do you recall if you spoke to any of her children to see if they saw or heard anything?
No.
Were there any videos, like Ring camera, anything like that, to show what happened?
Not that she was able to provide me. I asked if she got any pictures or videos of her injuries or what captured the actual incident, and she said she didn't have any.
Did Ms. Scott have to go and get any medical treatment for her injuries?
She said she went, or Hollister ended up taking her to Piedmont Hospital. I believe that's in Fayette. If I'm not mistaken. I believe, yeah, in Fayette, that she went there and got treated and got released.
Were you
Yeah.
able to confirm that she went to Piedmont Fayette?
Yes, I did a follow up there, and they said that they did see her. Um, According to what she described, happened was that she fell down, which she had told them that, but the reason they never contacted us, which I thought was alarming, that if it was a domestic situation, um, because they thought the injuries were consistent with her possibly falling down and injuring herself, they didn't contact us. So I'm not sure what did they see that in their mind that they didn't feel the need to contact us about the incident.
You stated that Ms. Scott contacted the police a couple of days after the incident allegedly occurred. Did she give you any explanation as to why?
Yeah, let me see if I put that in my. I think she was okay. Yeah, she said she was in fear of. Well, no, no. Give me 1 second. Let me just refer to my notes. Hold on. I don't believe she. I don't believe she actually had, gave a good reason and why she took so long to advise us.
At the time when she spoke to you, did she give any indication as to whether or not she was in any type of fear or had any safety concerns?
She did say that she was in fear in her life that because of the incident and that she's looking to move out of her home. By the time I think I did the follow up, which was into the next week, she had told me that she had moved out by then. So she stayed true to her word about leaving the house.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
Okay.
Attorney Martin Stokes?
Yes. Good morning, Officer Vanderpool. How you doing today?
Good morning.
All right.
Waco.
All right. Now, you took a report from Ms. Scott on 12/15 at about 8:35 p.m.
AM.
AM. Okay. So AM. And when you went to that location, did you see anybody present at the house besides Ms. Scott?
At least she had one or two children there. Two of her children.
Do you know how long Ms. Scott had lived at the location?
No, ma'am.
Were you made aware that Ms. Scott had been served notice to leave the location in early December, late November?
No, ma'am.
Now, she tell you that she went to the hospital on 12/11, which is 4 days prior to her calling the police, correct?
That's when the incident happened.
Okay. So she's alleging that this happened on 12/11, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Is Ms. Scott of a fair complexion?
Um. eh, brown. Not.
So,
Yeah. Maybe light brown or brown. You could say.
so if Miss Scott had been slammed to the ground 4 days later, would you say, based on your 13 years of law enforcement experience, that this would still be a bruise that you could see?
Judge, I'm going to object. That is speculation. There is no way the officer could testify to that. He's not a medical employee. There's no way he would be able to answer that. Judge, you're muted.
There we are. My apologies. Deputy Vanderpool, do you think you can answer that question? Let's just go straight to you. Oh, do you feel it would be speculation?
I mean, as far as I know, I mean, some people heal differently, so I can't say that she should be shown injuries or she wouldn't.
Okay.
Everybody differently, so.
Okay.
All right.
That's
I think
fine.
he answered it.
Okay. Did you observe any injuries on her neck?
She never showed me any injuries.
Okay. She never showed you any pictures?
No,
No videos?
no videos. No.
Okay. Did she say that all of these children, did she say what time of day this incident happened?
This happened, I believe it was in 8 o'clock. Yeah, 8 o'clock that December 7th.
Okay. So she said on December the 11th at 8 o'clock, when everybody, perhaps all of the children were home, there were no witnesses besides her and Mr. Hollis.
I don't know if the children were home. If I'm not mistaken, that might have been either Sunday night or Monday, and they might not have. They might have either just got home or they from wherever they were at. So I don't recall what exactly why they was home or why they wasn't home.
Okay. Now, I think in your report you said you did not observe any injury or recent injuries. Did you observe any injury?
No, and there's nothing that pertained to the incident that Monday.
And also in your report, you stated that you thought she should have had some from the attack that she described, correct?
I'm not sure if I said that enough, but based off of what she's advising, is either, like I said, I don't know how people heal, so she didn't show me any injuries, nor did I see any injuries.
Okay, let's cover that then. She told you he struck her with an open fist, correct?
Correct.
He choked her.
Correct.
put her in a headlock. Is that yes, affirmative?
Correct. I'm sorry.
He picked her up and slammed her onto the pavement.
Correct.
And she told you that her head hit the concrete.
Correct.
Mhm. And she was paralyzed and unconscious.
Correct.
Okay. And she said that when in the hospital, when you followed up a few days later or a week later or whatever date, do you remember what date that was?
I believe it was on the 19th.
The hospital said she came here and she gave a statement that she had fallen.
Correct.
Mhm. Did they tell you how long she was in the hospital? Was she there and she released on the same day?
Um, I think she got there either around or somewhere around midnight. So, um, if it's the next day, it will be the next day will be the 12th. But I believe she got released on the 12th.
Okay. So this happened on the 11th at 11 o'clock at night, and she got released the next day.
Correct.
Okay. You also told her when she made this report that you were unable to, you didn't feel that she had sufficient cause.
No, I said I didn't have enough to go by um, at the time without the warrant, but this is before the follow up at the hospital.
Okay. Now, you gave her instruction on how to get a TPO and how to apply for a warrant
Yes, ma'am.
at this time. Okay. Now on 12/19, what did you learn that would have given you a different what changed your mind at that point?
And when I talked to the hospital staff, she did. They said that she did was brought in, which was by the mail, by a mail. They didn't identify who the
I'm
mail
sorry,
was.
I'm sorry, repeat that, officer. I didn't hear all of your statement, your responses.
I said, when I did a follow up at the hospital, the hospital staff advised me she wasn't there for some type of injuries. Um, that a male did bring her in and stayed with her at the time. And seems like he was answering the questions for her when they was asking her what happened and everything. So um, it seemed like she was being a little evasive on what was really going on. If they wanted to do follow up interviews with her, so for that, it just felt a little um, borderline-ish that something might have been going on that based off of past experiences that I dealt with other people. Sometimes victims don't want to come out straight what's going on, especially if the person is right there with them. So that's why I decided to, based off of the information the hospital gave me, I decided to take it to a judge and see if I could get the warrants instead of waiting for her to apply for the warrant.
Okay. And so when you went to apply for the warrant, you changed your wording, did you?
Change the wording on what?
Initially, you said that you didn't see any visible injury, correct?
Yes, I never changed that.
Okay. Okay. And in the warrant, you indicated that she suffered visible injury. Did you see any visible injury?
No.
Okay. Why did the wording in the report say something differently than the warrant when you applied to the judge? You didn't see visible injury, did you?
And did I say that in the warrant? Because I don't have the warrant in front of me, so I don't.
Visible bruising on the back of her head. Did you see visible bruising on the back of her head?
No.
Did you see visible bruising on the back of her upper back?
No,
Did you see visible bruising on her shoulder area?
no,
Did the hospital give you any records to indicate that she had visible bruising on those areas?
no.
You also initially testified that she told the hospital staff that she had fallen,
Correct.
correct?
No, that's what the hospital staff told me, that she's told them that she fell.
Were you also aware that the police were called back to the house the second time that day?
No, ma'am.
Okay. But it is your testimony here today that the only evidence that you had was her word.
And that was attended to by the hospital
Okay.
for injuries in those areas that she advised.
So now it is your testimony that she had injuries in those areas?
No, I'm saying what the hospital said, that she had injuries in her area.
In what area?
The areas that you mentioned.
Okay.
So that's why she warrants was seek.
I'm
Now
having a hard.
I don't have a report from the hospital. This is what I was advised from the hospital staff of what injuries she came in there with.
So when you spoke to the hospital staff, who did you speak to?
If it's in my report, let's see. Stand by.
Sure.
I believe it's a case manager, Tanya Turner.
Okay. Now, did Miss Scott make you aware that her and Mr. Hollister had a relationship together?
At the time of the incident, yes.
Okay.
The time she called the police, she was saying that she had broke up with him at that point.
Okay. She also make you aware that that was his home, he owned it,
Yes,
and
and
that he was at. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
that's why she was looking to leave, because she didn't want a protective order against him where he ended up having to leave.
Okay. And did she make you aware that they had a child together?
I know they said she has children. I'm not sure if she told me she had children with him.
And did she make you aware that her and her 6 children lived at that residence?
Yes,
And did she make you aware that she had nowhere to go?
yes, correct.
She never told you why she waited 4 days to call the police, did she?
Um, Not that I can recall.
Did she tell you that she saw Mr. Hollister with another woman and that's why she called you?
No, she didn't.
That's all I have.
All right. Any redirect, Attorney Freeman?
No, Your Honor, the state rests.
All righty. Attorney Martin Stokes, do you have any witnesses or evidence?
I do not, Judge.
All righty. Closing arguments, Attorney Freeman?
The state waives opening.
All right. Attorney Martin Stokes?
Judge, the standard whereby we garner probable cause is a belief that a crime has occurred and that my client committed that crime. I think over and over in the reports, Officer Vanderpool is indicating this happened 4 days later. He initially told her to go take a TPO and get a warrant. Then he went to the hospital, and some case manager said that some guy brought her there, but we don't know who that guy is. It's not identified as my client. And then that guy stayed with her and spoke for her. He is testifying that she is of a fair complexion. And I do think Officer
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to object. That was not his testimony.
He said that she was brown.
Yeah, she
And he
said
said that he
brown.
believed that people heal differently. But he believed, according to his report, that if all of the things that she said had indicated had happened, that there would be some type of evidence of that happening. He indicated there was no such evidence. He indicated that there was if she had been striking with a closed fist, no evidence. If she had been slammed on the pavement, no evidence. If she had hit her head on the concrete, no evidence. And if she was paralyzed and lost consciousness, there was no evidence. He also indicated that they said she told them that she had fallen, which her injuries were consistent with falling, not being slammed on the pavement. I don't know where or how our rule of law has changed such where I can make an allegation with zero proof and I can have somebody locked up, lose everything that you have and get locked up. I do believe that Ms. Scott had additional motive in this case. I think that's evidenced by waiting 4 days to call the police. I think that's evidenced by that the relationship is ending. You got to get out. I think that's evidenced by being evasive and not giving the police all of the answers. And for that reason, I will state in my place that I do not believe sufficient cause exists. I think the officer didn't believe that a crime had occurred. Even with him speaking to the case manager, he is hesitant today that a crime occurred and that my client committed that crime. So for that reason, Judge, I'll ask that you find that there isn't sufficient cause to bind the case over. Thank you.
Judge, we're asking that both charges are bound over to Superior Court. The Officer Vanderpool did state when Attorney Martin, I know she wanted him to say that he felt that because of her skin tone that he should have still seen bruises or injuries on her 4 days later. But he even said every person heals differently. He's not a medical professional to be able to say that. But what he was able to say is when he took her report 4 days later, she did state that she was in fear for her safety and she definitely wanted to move out of the house. When he followed back up with her, she in fact had moved out of the house. Additional follow-up, he was able to confirm that she did go to the hospital. And hospital staff did indicate there was a gentleman with her who seemed to speak for her, and that she appeared to be evasive in her answers and about what happened, which Officer Vanderpool stated in his experience, that is something that is common with victims in these type of situations. So given all of that, Judge, we are asking that both charges are bound over to Superior Court.
Thank you. All right, so the allegations in this case are quite concerning. And so by the own officer's testimony, he didn't appear to be very confident that he believed the victim in this case. The allegations of being slammed on the pavement, struck with closed fists. I don't believe that color makes a difference when you are causing that sort of force on someone. I don't think that whether you're light skin or dark skin, I believe you will have some sort of injury. She provided, I didn't hear anything about the officer talk to anybody else, and anybody else confirmed that this occurred. She did go to the hospital. Number one, she was delayed in calling the police. She was delayed in going to the hospital. We don't know who this person was that went with her to the hospital.
Judge, I'm sorry. I think the testimony, she went to the hospital that day. I don't think there was a delay in that. It was just a delay when she called the police.
She went to the hospital the date of the injury?
She did, Judge.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. And so I didn't hear any testimony about a head injury, unless I'm wrong. Please continue to correct me if I'm wrong. Or any injury to her neck. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. And then calling the police 4 days later. And I know that that some victims do things like that, but my biggest issue is there are actually no cuts, no scrapes, nothing visible. I can't, this is a lot of speculation. You know, the officer indicated that he only followed up with this because she went to the doctor. I mean, he didn't testify whether he told her to go to the doctor or not, but he testified that he came back and decided on something else because she did go to the hospital. So at this point, I do not find that there is sufficient probable cause to bind this case over. But Mr. Hollister, do understand that the state can pick this back up. Just because I dismissed it, the state can come back and indict it, all right? I don't know what you have going on with this, but if anybody is threatening to take my life, I would have to make some decisions about that person. All right, so I do not find that there is sufficient probable cause in this case. That's the order of the court. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Judge. Have a good day.
Excuse.